Shalom, shalom to you. Just unmute yourself, please. How are
Shalom
you,
Aleichem.
Al?
How you doing?
Oh, what a pleasure to hear your soothing voice on a good audio system.
You're so kind.
How are you? Long time no see. On the one hand, I like being in touch with a lot of people. On the other hand, I only meet them once a month. It's tough
Yeah.
for me. I like meeting peak friends every day.
Yes.
How are you
Some
doing? Why do you have that blurred background?
let me how do I change it?
So you go to the bottom over there. You see where it says stop video? Don't click stop video.
Okay.
You see where it says stop video? Next to it, there's an arrow.
I see share screen, I see summary, see participants.
Go the other direction.
I see stop video and mute.
So next to
Participant,
stop video, there's an arrow, right?
there's a no, there's not. Well, there is an arrow.
Click that arrow and it says choose virtual background. Or it says blur my background. Just
Yeah.
unblur your background. Ah, yeah, go.
There we go. That's better. That was blurring me. Yeah. Yes.
How are things by you?
Doing well, doing well. I have two things on my heart, if you want to talk about one of them or whatever.
Before I want to a lot of the people that I talk to, they say, before we start talking, they say, oh, how's your family?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think that people say, like, how are you almost?
And how is your family?
But wait a second, but I don't even know about your family. I don't remember if you ever told me. I know that you're married. I'm going to meet your wife soon, I hope.
Yes, Wednesday. She's planning on joining you at 10:30 our time.
But
We
what about children?
we have two children. Our daughter just turned 46, and she has two children. They live in Marietta, Georgia, north of Atlanta.
Okay.
Her last name is Okimoto. She married Paul Okimoto, whose father was Japanese, and have two
And is
beautiful
is, is he
kids.
Christian?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Femeod. How lovely. I know that there's a I don't know exactly if he's Japanese or what, but there's a fellow by the name of Peter Okahawa or something like that. I don't know,
Okay.
who's the head of a church here in Haifa.
Okay. Okay.
So that's something interesting.
Yeah. So when they got married, I teased them. I said, "Well, Summer, your name still ends with a vowel."
What, Shapiro?
Yeah. So Summer and Paul Okimoto. And then our son married a girl he knew since she was 5 years old. He couldn't stand her back then. And the years passed and they crossed paths when she was 19 and he was smitten. And they have three children, two girls and a boy.
Where does he live?
They live in Rockwall, about 100 miles away. Yes.
Rockwall, where is that? North, south, east, west?
It's
What?
it's east of Dallas.
It's
There's a
east of
big
Dallas.
lake, and you go over this long bridge, about a mile long bridge, and you hit the town of Rockwall.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've been there maybe, or I thought of going there at least.
Yes. So
And what does he do?
he sells steel for a living for O'Neill Steel, one of these big steel suppliers to factories, things like customers like Trinity Industries. They make the highway girders, protective rails, things like that. But he's changing jobs possibly to Generacs and will be selling generators. He believes there's a huge market for that with the rolling blackouts happening and disasters.
What
And
rolling blackouts? What are you talking about?
um, well, we had an ice storm. One I'm thinking of, ice storm every few hours. You have no electricity for a couple hours. Anyway, this really hurts manufacturing. So he's going for, big companies. These generators come on automatically when the power goes out.
Right. We have
Um,
something like that here in my community. Power
yeah,
goes off often.
yeah. So our daughter has her doctorate in nursing, and she's a midwife at Emory University, the hospital there.
How nice.
And her husband is the president of unclaimedbaggage.com, which is a fascinating organization that receives unclaimed baggage from all the airports in the nation. It's a 501c3. They have a brick and mortar store in Scottsboro, Alabama, and then a huge online store. And most of these,
Unclaimedbaggage.org?
yeah, unclaimedbaggage.com. Most of these bags come from security, not from the airline messing up. And the airlines hire detectives to try to find the owners to these things. And if they fail, well, they donate them to unclaimedbaggage.com. And um, they have the largest laundry in Alabama.
Because
Washing
they have to
all the
wash
clothes.
everything.
Yeah, so they have a team of people that determines the value, and then they'll cut off, they'll cut the price either 40% or 50% or more than that and put it on sale for often 30% of the appraised value. Depends on the items.
Now, this is a nonprofit organization?
Yes. Uh-huh.
It looks like it's mostly selling stuff.
Yes, it is. It is. And so you can be a nonprofit and sell things provided a certain percentage of your items, of your profits go to nonprofit purposes. So
Of course. Wow.
yeah. So
Well, does
before that, they lived in the Dallas area and he worked for a company that merged with another company. His job came to an end. So he searched for a job for a long time. He's a CEO kind of guy. And one day he got a phone call as a character reference for someone, and the conversation went so well they asked him to apply, and that led to this job. Yeah. So
unbelievable.
yeah.
So did I see since 1970 over there?
Yes, it started with a huge garage sale from Continental Trailways. The owner's father drove up to DC with a truck and trailer and loaded up with unclaimed bags from Continental Trailways, the bus company. And it went so well, they kept doing it and it grew and it began to include airlines and airports. So it
Of
is what it is
course.
today.
Unbelievable. So your son-in-law, what is his name?
His name is Paul Okimoto.
Paul.
So he's the
So Paul
president.
was hired to be the CEO.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, the owner wanted someone to take it and run with it. So they really vetted him. They actually flew to Dallas and they interviewed our daughter too. So before they made their decision.
Unbelievable. Well, I'd love to meet him. My gosh, that's so
Yeah.
exciting,
Oh
so
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And they love Israel. They've gone there with a tour and want to go back. And yeah.
Well, tell them if they want to go to Israel, then spend some time with me. It's the next best thing to being there.
I will tell them, yes, yes. Next time they schedule, so you're gonna have to go see my friend Gidon Ariel. Now, how about your family? You
Not
have,
even in Israel, even on Zoom. I want to meet them by Zoom.
yeah, okay, well, if you're in the Atlanta area, yeah.
I don't have to be in the Atlanta area to meet them on Zoom. I'm in Israel. I'm staying in my house.
Yeah.
Took so long to get a meeting with your wife. I'm like, what how long is it going to take to get a meeting with your kids?
She's a character. She
Well, your daughter, what it was Summer, did you say her name is?
Summer. Uh-huh. Summer Joy.
Lovely name. What does she do?
She is a certified nursing midwife with a doctorate in practical nursing.
That's right. You told me. I'm sorry. Forgot that.
It's okay. And she works at the hospital connected with Emory University and teaches
Right.
students.
And you got and they got two kids, did you say?
They have two children, yes.
How old are they?
10 and 8.
Ah, a sweet
So their
age.
birthdays are in December, so they're getting up there. Yeah.
Very nice. And the other one, that is Summer, and your
And Paul,
son,
husband,
Paul is your son.
yeah, son-in-law. And our son is Zane.
Zane?
Zane. And he married Jamie, and so we call them Zamie.
Zamie, yeah, Zame and Jamie.
And they're amused by that, but Paul and Summer are not amused by us calling them Palmer, so we don't do that.
What does Zane do?
He sells steel for O'Neill Steel.
Right. Oh
It's
man,
okay.
I'm failing the test here. He
He's
lives in
moving over.
Rockwall.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
He's moving over to
He's
Generac.
moving over to generators.
Yes, yes.
Love to meet him also, but he already has a job. It's just a question of finishing of getting started.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well,
Moving
that's
over to this
Lacha.
industry. So yeah.
So my family is actually my son is still working for that organization that educates and promotes the Temple Mount.
Okay.
And my other son was working as a dorm counselor, but he got sick of that. He wants to be a musician. You might have seen his song that I published on my newsletter.
Okay.
Check that out.
I'll go back and check it out.
And so that's my sons, and both of them, their wives are expecting in November.
Okay.
So I guess that means I'm not flying in November.
Okay.
And my daughter, she lives also in a dorm school village, a children's village, whatever you call it, Boys Town or something like that. And so her husband is a dorm counselor over there.
Okay.
And my oldest is studying to be, both my oldest and my youngest are studying to be uh early age education or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Serving the future. It's awesome.
Right. And Deborah's a technical writer, and I'm trying to keep Root Source together.
Yes. Now, our son's wife currently doesn't work outside the home, but she's a licensed beautician and hairstylist, and she's doing
So does
good.
she
Oh,
take customers inside the home?
she can now. Yeah, they have a little salon in their house if she wants. But when they got married, she was making more money than him, and then slowly he worked his way up. So,
Yeah, that's great. Tov. All right.
so
So what else did you have on your mind, my friend?
you have four children?
We've got 5 children.
Five children.
Three,
Okay.
three marrieds and two not married.
Okay, gotcha. Great. Well,
What's this
yesterday,
space?
yeah, the first thing on my mind is Job. The second thing is I'm doing a survey for hot topics. I'm going to do a sermon series, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 12 weeks on various topics. So I texted all my connections that I had in groups. If I don't have them in groups, then I have to think of them individually. I'll send you the same text. And I emailed all my connections that I have in groups because it's just so much quicker. And then I put it on Facebook, just soliciting people's suggestions for a hot topic.
Oh, wow.
And I'll wait a week or so, and then I'll compile a list of all the suggestions and create a survey. I don't know if you've heard of Survey Monkey. Survey Monkey is an amazing thing. Create a survey and then send a link out to everybody again, asking them to vote on the hottest topic. And
You
then
only have to send that to your congregation.
I'm sending it to everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's to
you want
generate
your congregation to show up. The people who aren't going to show up, what do you care? What do they care what do you care what they think?
is trying to generate interest in people that aren't in the congregation.
Oh, you mean,
Yeah.
but can potentially come.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, I got you. Of
if it's just
course. Yeah,
if it's
definitely.
just the
Good idea.
congregation, it may be, um, maybe boring or ingrown, but yeah.
Okay, so here you go. What am I supposed to tell you about Joe? Boy, very. I didn't
Okay.
practice for
Well,
this one.
I'll just share my take on Job, and it's all about, to me, Job revolves around chapter 19
Of
when
Job.
he gets the revelation that his Redeemer lives. So the first two chapters is the disasters, right? God allows Satan to do what he did. And then it's so bad, his wife tells him to curse God and die. And here come
Right,
three friends who sit and look at him covered with boils, scraping himself with broken pottery, sitting in
right.
ashes. They don't say a thing for 7 days. Then they begin to speak to him. Now, some people will not agree with me, but if you listen to the story, it takes about 2 hours and read it nonstop, you'll see what I'm saying. These guys just let him have it. In fact, one of them quotes what an evil spirit had told him the night before.
Hmm,
So even though God prevented Satan from taking his life, it feels like he is attacking him through his friends.
right.
And so he gets into defending himself, and one of them is Eliphaz the Temanite. He's the one that quotes what an evil spirit, and he may be an Edomite. Edom,
He's a Yemenite.
yeah, it could be. Uh, anyway, and so he's defending himself, and then a fourth friend pops up and really lets him have it, and Job continues to defend himself. And then God shows up and tells him, "None of you know what you're doing." And then the restoration happens after Job prays for his friends.
Hmm.
And then here come other friends bringing gifts. Like
Hmm.
Job could have said, "Well, where have you been?" And his daughters are so beautiful, they were named, and people would travel for miles to go see them. So in
Wow.
chapter 19 to me is a really high point. He's lamenting his condition. My breath is atrocious. My wife can't stand me. Little children run from me. And I wish what I was about to say is written in stone with an iron pen that cannot be erased forever. For I know my Redeemer lives, and in my flesh I shall see God.
Where are you reading? Where are you reading?
It's in the middle of chapter 19. I'm embarrassed. Here I'm a pastor without a Bible near me. It's in the
I know
middle
you
of
say it all by heart.
well, I don't have it memorized, but the verse. So yeah, what does Rashi and others say about this revelation he had? Is it messianic? Now he said he would see the Redeemer in his flesh with his own eyes. And of course it happened. The Lord turned the situation around.
Let's see what Safari has to say about this. I admit, I don't go to Job too often. Now, Job, of course, is a fascinating Bible. It takes the issue of why bad things happen to good people straight on, like a bull's horns. The thing is that the Hebrew is so difficult that it's very hard to understand. But then again, as we've probably discussed, when you translate something, then you're going to translate it into a language that people can understand. Otherwise, people are not going to take your translation. They want to understand. So you reading the English translation of Job, don't get the experience of the difficulty of the text.
Yeah, it gets dumbed down so dummies can understand it.
I wouldn't. I mean, you're joking around, but there's something to that. But that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of translation. You can't translate something that is meant to be difficult to understand and keep it difficult to understand. You can
Yeah,
try to make it interesting, like for example, to translate Shakespeare into Hebrew. Then you're going from bad to verse, as they say.
yeah.
Okay, so chapter 19, you say.
Chapter 19.
Job, let's read it in English. Um, here. There are in 2021, there's 29 chapter, 29 verses over here. So let me try to do what I like to do, which is read it and look at the Hebrew and translate it myself. You can look.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I'm not promising because, as I said, it might be some hard stuff, and I'll try not to spend too much time on the words themselves because some of these words are I'll put a finger up when a word is out of the ordinary. Vayam Eov Vayomar, and Eov responded and said, Ad ana hogyun. Until where are you going to make me sad, I guess? To gyunafsh my spirit. Utdak unani, and make me depressed with words. Yes, definitely the words crush here. In the Hebrew that I'm used to, the word here is make me depressed.
Yeah, that's what his brilliant friends are doing.
It's been 10 times already that you are embarrassing me. Lo tevoshu hakruli. You're not embarrassed. I don't know what this word means. It says here to abuse me, but I don't know. And in here, and I see here that they've translated it time and again. Literally 10 times. How does your translation? Get yourself a Bible, man.
10 times.
Okay. Va'afom nam shagiti, and in fact, I probably made a mistake. Iti talin meshugati. All the time lying down with me is my crazy. It's not my craziness, my error. Okay, yeah. Mishke. Imonam alai tagdilu. If in fact you will get bigger with me, v'tochichu alai chirpati, and you will. No, is to you will try to tell me off for my embarrassment, reproach me, right? You should know, in any case, that God is the one who has made me crooked. Umtsudo alai hikif, and he has surrounded me with his trap, with his snare. It says here, siege works. Okay.
Okay.
So the translation here, he has wronged me. It's not exactly. That's not how I understood it in the first way. It's that he's made me crooked. So it's not that he personally made me. Henetzak Hamas v'lo aneh. Will I scream? Hamas. Everybody knows the word Hamas nowadays, but Hamas means foul, I guess.
Wow.
And I will not be answered. Avasheh ashava ve'ein mishpat. Will I be able to pray, but there will be no justice served?
Wow.
Orchi gadar ve'lo yavo. I will fence up my sides, and I will not pass over that fence. Or it's true, gadar. He fenced up my sides, and I will not be able to pass that fence. Val nativotai choshech yasim. He will put darkness on my paths. Again, the translation here is path, but the word here is paths. Just saying. Kvodi me'alai hifshit. He has undressed my honor from me. Vayasar ateret roshi. Has taken off my crown. Again, it says here, strip me of my glory. This is honor, not glory. Whatever. Yitzeni saviv va'elach. I'm not sure what that means. He tears down every part of me. Yitzeni. Vayasa ka'etz tikvati. And he makes my hope go like a tree. Uproots. Again, there's other words for uproots over here. This word comes from the word of make to move. And I got mad, and he got mad at me, I guess. Yeah. And he thought of me as one of his enemies. Together, all of his Gadud is a battalion. All of his battalions will come. Vayasolu alai dalkam, and they will do something to my path. They build their road. Yeah, they build their road to me, whatever that means. Vayachanu saviv lo, and then they park around me and camp around my tent. Yes. Achai me'alai yilchi. God distanced my brothers from me. Different, similar. V'yodai achzaru mimeni. And the ones that knew me, they became like strangers from me.
So these people show up in the last chapter. His friends and brothers.
Chadlu krovai. All of my relatives and the ones that were close to me, they stopped coming. Miyodai shchichuni. They've all forgotten me, the ones that knew me. Oh, that's sad. So sad. Garei veiti va'amhotai lezar tachshavuni. The ones that lived in my house and my woman servants, my maid servants, they thought of me as a stranger. Nochri hayiti b'neihem, I was a stranger in their eyes. Le'avdi karati v'lo yaneh. I called even to my servant and he didn't answer. My gosh. B'mofi. I called him with my own mouth. Etchanen lo. I called out to him. I prayed. Please come. Ruchi zara le'ishti. My spirit has become a stranger to my own wife. V'chanoti livnei vitni. I have been parked. I don't know what this loathsome livnei viti. Okay, this is where your odor is repulsive to your wife, but that's not what it necessarily says here in the Hebrew. Like I translated, ruchi is spirit. It's not certainly not odor, for God's sakes.
It'd be
Zara
breath.
is repulsive, but it can also mean strange. So I think that together with, I stand by my translation that we're talking about people who are separating themselves from him, not because of his odor, but because they just don't like him anymore. B'chanoti livnei vitni. Not sure what that means. Chanot comes from the word parking. So I became parked. I don't know what that means. Gam avilim asubi. Even bad people, people who tried to trick me, they got sick and tired of me. Akuma vidabruvi. If I would get up, I would hear them, I guess, that they're talking about me.
Wow.
Which is not such a big deal. If these are the bad people, they would talk about them anyway. Tiavuni kol metei sodi. The ones that I used to share my secrets with, they hate me. They can't stand me. V'zeh ahavti ne'efchu bi. The ones that I loved, they turned over. They switched 180 degrees. Be'ori uvivsari v'davka atzmi. In my skin and in my flesh, it looks like I've stuck to myself. It's like all that I have left is myself. Ve'et malta, not even sure what that means. Be'or shinai. Yeah, I escape with the skin of my teeth.
Wow.
Imalta. I don't know what et malta means. Chanuni, atem re'ai. Please be gracious to me. Please be nice to me. You, my friends, Kiyad Elo Anagavi, because God Himself has touched me with His hand. Again, it says here just touched, not struck. But that's probably what they mean. Lama tirdefuni kmoel. Why should you also? I'm adding the word also. Why are you chasing after me like a god, or like God? Like God obviously is pursuing me, so you guys are also pursuing me, like being mean to me. Umib sari lo hisbao, and aren't you going to have enough of eating my flesh, as it were?
Wow. Now here comes the revelation.
1 second, let's see what this B means. You are not satisfied with my flesh? Mi tain efo v'yichtevun milai. After I've complained so much, who will now, therefore, I wish that somebody would come and write down my words. Mi tain basefer v'yuchaku. Who would, I wish, would write down what I have to say in a book. It says here in a book. I don't know why he had to change the word to record. Beit Barzel Oferet. Let him write it with a iron pen, and a Oferet is lead. La'ad batzur yechatzvun. May they be chiseled in forever. For some reason, they decided to switch the order of the verse. The verse starts out with the pen and ends with the inscription, incisement. They switched it around over here. Go figure. Vani adati goali chai, but I know that my Redeemer is alive. Vacharon alafal yakum, and at the end he will get up on the dust of the earth. Ve'achal ori nikefuzot. After my skin, nikefuzot. Not sure what that means. But from my own flesh I will see God. This half of the verse, this first half of the verse I've never heard, but the second half of the verse is a relatively well-known passage. I think it means that one day I will see God. In other words, I can see God by myself without any help, as it were. I think that's what people mean when they see Mibsari Chazal. You know, people who have they have an experience of seeing God, or an epiphany of God. I think that's what this is trying to describe. But Bachar ori nikfuzot, I have no idea what that means. Sorry. Not bad for a chapter of Job that only one word I can't understand. Asher ani echeze li ve'enai ra'u ve'lo zar kalu chilyotai b'chiki. That I saw for myself, my own eyes saw, and not somebody else's eyes, not some stranger's eyes. My innards were finished inside of me. He says here heart. It doesn't say heart over here. I don't even know what this is talking about. I guess if I see God from my own self, I saw it and not another. I don't know what he's trying to say. I don't know what he's trying to say over here. If you will say, why is he being chased? Is he being chased after? Probably there's a root of something that's in me. When you say that there must be a reason for me being chased after God, you should be afraid. You should be afraid yourselves of the sword. Because the anger, there is anger in the sins of a sword, or something like that. Leman teidun shadun. So you will ultimately know shadun. Okay. So this word shadun, nobody ever heard of it. They're translating it as judgment. But there's so many other words for they're translating it as judgment because the word dun is here, but din should be the word judgment. With this shadun, it almost sounds like it's something of being the opposite of judgment. It sounds like theft, because the word for theft is I don't remember what it has something to do with shdada or something like that. Anyway, yes, you're right. If you read the whole book of Job, maybe you can get a feeling of what he's talking about. But over here, it's, again, you've helped me over here by reminding me that this is in the middle of Job. This, of course, is Job speaking this entire chapter, yes?
Yes. Yeah. So Christians do one of two things. They either just get so dismayed by the story, they jump to the chapter at the end. Yes, but they do the yes, but God restored him, and just
Oh,
leave
not
it.
to the end of the chapter, the end of the book.
Yeah, the end of the book. And then other Christians get bogged down by trying to analyze every verse to get meaning from what the friend said. And I've get meaning from reading the whole story, not racing, but reading it and getting a grasp of it. This poor guy was suffering, and here the friends are piling it on him. And that fourth guy, I think, that shows up, I think he was just as bad. So bad that when God showed up, he just ignored him and rebuked Job and his friends.
Wow.
And then he redeemed him. I like what this says. It says his vindicator lives. Yeah. What a
Well,
story. And
where is that?
so,
Here.
yeah.
So that vindicator is what you call my redeemer. And the word here, goali, is usually redeemer.
Yeah.
But so I guess
So he got an epiphany.
I don't know about that.
You don't know. Okay.
Again, you this is the first time, it's probably not the first time I'm looking at this, but it's the first time in a long time. And the last time I did it, I'm sure I also said, woo, we finished that. Woo, got through it. But to really know this stuff is difficult. Again, it seems to me that he is saying that he's continuing to repeat his a claim against God here. God made it so bad for me, and everybody else is making it bad for me. That's pretty much what he has been saying for the first few verses, for the first half mostly, if not the entire thing, right?
Yeah. Well, if I could be so obnoxious as to defend him, perhaps he's not privy to the story of God's conversation with Satan. So he's blaming God for everything.
Okay, no. I'm not up to why. I'm not trying to to claim against him either, but I think that he's claiming against God here.
Yeah.
And
But
then when he gets to where'd it go? Vania dati goali chai. I don't think he's talking about God.
what?
I'm again. I might, if I try to justify this, somebody might say, Gidon, you've backed yourself into a corner. You got to give up that idea. But it seems to me he's saying, listen, I know that I am blameless. I know it. I'm getting struck down by God, struck down by my friends, struck down by my wife. Everybody's against me. But I know that somewhere out there, I have a friend who can defend me. So in other words, I think that he's talking about, again, I'm seeing this for the first time and I'm trying to keep everything else
Yes.
aside. But I think that within the context of this chapter, he's saying, I know that I am guiltless. I'm just unable to present that claim to everybody around me. But I know that there's somebody there. Someone is here who can help me to set up my words, and they will be a defense lawyer for me to my
Okay.
friends and to God.
So me being that kind of Christian that always ran as quickly as he could to the last chapter, I subconsciously could insert, yes, God did this. He fulfilled this promise. Perhaps this was an epiphany. Can we see what Rashi says about that statement? My vindicator, my redeemer lives.
Hello. Commentaries. You persecute me, but I know that my Redeemer lives to requite you, and he will endure and rise. Let me try to get this in both Hebrew and English. Vav ze chozer lamala. Atem tildafuni. he says that this vav, this verse, goes to this verse. Why do you guys publish me? Why do you guys pursue me? Because I know that my Redeemer is alive, and he will fulfill. He will get it back, and he will finally be right. This Redeemer, again, this is going against my understanding. You there, Alan?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. He will last until all the rest of you are not standing anymore. So not the rest of you, but all the rest of the dwellers of the earth. Yakum Yitkayim will, for some reason they did not translate this one word. They missed that part. But let me see who else. So obviously, okay, so again, in English, they translate Redeemer with a capital R. So I don't know who they're referring to. I assure you they're not referring to Jesus. So are they referring to God, or are they referring to who? I don't know. Maybe
Well, it's someone in Job's lifetime. I mean, the way.
But then why does it have to be with a capital R?
Well, the people that read the end of the book, I guess, would assume
I don't know.
That showed up.
Here, let me see if I can translate Ramban, who has not been translated in this source over here. And Ramban is a much longer. He writes much longer than Rashi does, but this one is relatively short. And I know, however, I know that my Redeemer lives. He says that he wants that people will have mercy upon him. He wants that his friends have mercy upon him, and they'll stop pursuing him. And he also wants that they will write down his words, but maybe they will have mercy upon him. Others, when they hear his claims. I'm getting there, huh?
Yes.
Ramban sounds like he's repeating what I said. He knows that these friends of his redemption is not going to come from them. His salvation isn't going to come from them. But I do know, I'm trying to read in my own conversation over my own understanding here. But there is only a Redeemer that he can redeem him or save him. He is alive since then, and he will be the last of all createds. And he will be around forever. I guess he's talking about God. He says it very clearly. And that is none other than God himself. Okay. So that's hard to understand. It's hard for me to understand that, because he's been saying that God himself has been the leader in saying that he's so bad. So now he's turning back to God. So in other words, God is the judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah. And now you're saying, but I know that God is going to be my what kind of lawyer is it? My defense lawyer.
Yes.
I don't get how he gets that. I'm a Farshima Ruki Omar, and other commentaries, maybe Rashi said that he will say, I want that these things will be written down, because the Redeemer, the one that redeems me from your claims, he now is alive, or he might be born afterwards, because it's impossible that there will not be somebody smart that will understand all of my claims, and he will be able to help me. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Ramban thinks that his is better than mine. Okay. Now, is it possible that I don't know what he means here, the commentaries. He doesn't say which commentaries. Certainly not Rashi. Alshich is 3 centuries later. Malbim is another 3 centuries later. It's amazing. So Steinsaltz very clearly says it's God. So that's interesting. So those other commentaries that I got to go soon, I actually have to go now. that the Ramban quotes over here, it either could be who I'm talking about, that there must be somebody who can defend me even against God, or maybe they're hinting towards Jesus, which is why he says I don't agree with it.
Yeah, but it could be messianic parallel. So this dichotomy for blaming God and then God's going to help me. Look at Israel's history. God allows them to be carried into captivity. And Isaiah has a word redeem in it numerous times. God redeems them from captivity. The same God.
Right,
How you
right,
deal
right.
with it.
Interesting. My friend, we spent too much time talking about my kids because
Oh,
I got to run to my evening prayer.
oh, I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My gosh. I'm
It's-
glad that we recorded this. Now I can put this on as a teaching in Job, and maybe we'll teach the whole book of Job.
yeah.
Woo!
Well, don't get bogged down in what all the bad guys say.
Tom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.